Christmas programs, because I don't know, somebody had to make a cow's noise or something. And so there's about 5 of us making that. And I was the winner, so I had to get in that play. So.
Do you remember any of your teachers' names?
Well, yeah. Well, let's see, down there, Mrs. Phillips, I think, was the music teacher. Yeah. There was a Whetstone down there. Do you remember Whetstone?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was she a history teacher or something? I don't know what she was.
I don't know if she was at Park School. I think she was like a social studies teacher. Or
oh yeah, that's like that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah.
Do you remember Mr. Jacoby, the janitor?
Yeah. I'm not related to him.
You're
no.
not related to him? Okay.
I want to tell you another thing about my dad.
Okay.
He was on the school board about 4 years or 5 years. He was president of the school board 1 year. He belonged to the Sugar Beet Growers Association. He belonged to the Pickle Association. So that's what he used to do.
He kept busy.
He kept busy, you know. Yeah. Yep, he had things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any special memories about Windsor High School?
Well, not really. I don't know. I just, God, that's been. See, I was in FFA, and that's the one I liked the most. See, I remember a lot of FFA stuff, but in 4-H, I was in 4-H. 1 year, we had some sugar beets that we planted 1 acre of sugar beets, and then it was my project in 4-H. So then that was kept separate, and we figured that all separate when we got it. And then the field man came out one day and says, well, you're supposed to go down to Denver, you know. And so me and the dad went down. It was during the stock show, and they had awards down there, and they gave the top sugar beet people awards, and I got one of them. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was from your 4-H project?
Yeah. And you know, I had a calf in 4-H, but that didn't go to the fair or nothing with it. My son and daughter, they had calves. They went to some fairs, yeah. Yeah.
And they kept the calves out at the Jacoby
place,
farm?
Yeah. See, and we just bought a heifer calf from the stock show, and we had to move it. We put it out in the pasture with some other cows, and we was going to get it later and start breaking it and stuff. And the lightning hit that heifer and killed it, and that was the only one. All the other cows were, you know, okay. So that heifer belonged to my daughter, so we had to go get another heifer. Show in 4-H, and my son, he went to down in Arizona. Down in Arizona. You know, it goes blank and then it comes back.
He's in Arizona now?
No, but I mean, he showed a calf down there.
Oh, he showed a calf
at Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah. He went with some other guys with some calves down there, and they were down there showing it at a stock.
For like 4-H or FFA or something?
It was just, well, yeah, 4-H. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much a cow sold for back in those days when you took it down? Let's say you took it down with J.J. Schaefer and they sold it.
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Do you remember?
I don't remember that. That's been a long time ago.
Did you hunt and trap on the Jacoby?
Oh, yeah, I did. I done a lot of hunting. I trapped muskrats on that place, and I shot a lot of ducks on that place, and shot geese. Yeah.
Coyotes?
Well, yeah, they used to take off, you know, the minute I go out the door, or if I would they'd head for the drylands, you know, that's where they were going. I done a lot of that up in the drylands. it's up there. Yeah.
What other kinds of wildlife were on the farm that you noticed? Did you have deer?
Pheasants, shot some pheasants out there too, that's right.
We just don't have pheasants around here anymore, do we?
No, and we shot a lot of jackrabbits out there. We don't have them
We
here
don't have
either.
them either.
They're in my yard.
Not jackrabbits.
Not the jackrabbits. They're little rabbits.
Did you always want to be a farmer?
Yeah.
And when did you move away from the farm?
Well, we had a house built down in Water Valley, and that's when we moved away.
That was in 2001.
Yeah. So,
So you gave the Windsor-Severance Historical Society a picture of the dedication of Highway 392
yeah.
going west of town.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that highway was built and about that whole process?
Well, they started here in Windsor and went west. And they worked a lot of that ground, and the only thing I really remember is when I was out in the field, there used to be a guy coming down that road, and it was real dusty, and he'd come flying to work, and he was driving a new Thunderbird. It was really neat, and he'd park that thing out there and get on that uke and take off. At night, he'd get that thing and away it'd go, the dust was flying. But that was kind of easy to watch. And then when they cut into that hill, a lot of people said that they cut in a bunch of rattlesnakes. And I don't believe that at all, because I think they were cut into a bunch of bull snakes, because there was a lot of bull snakes down there along that area. Yeah, I even killed some bull snakes along the ditch there too.
So your dad sold his property
Yeah.
to the state for that road?
Yeah. And then I shouldn't say it. No, go on.
Well, we were trying to think of the word eminent domain.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he willingly sold his property.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. I thought of that too the other day.
yeah.
See, it goes through my head and then it leaves.
So, okay, you showed me some pictures of the Poudre River
Yeah.
on fire.
Yeah.
So can you tell us the story about that?
Well, it came from Fort Collins, and I don't know what year that was.
The fire came from Fort Collins?
Well, up there that way. Somewhere, that's what they told me. Now, I don't know. And I don't know what happened up there, but anyway, this oil was coming down the river, and it was on fire. And I don't know what year that was.
So it just traveled?
It traveled all the way through Windsor and down towards Greeley, and yeah, I got pictures of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you take a lot of photos when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, yeah. Well, I've got photos. I got old farm photos, and I got the regular farm photos, and I got all kinds of.
Can you tell us some more stories about the river?
Well, I used to swim in it.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you learn to swim? That was kind of a hard thing in Windsor.
Well, I didn't. I learned it swimming in the Poudre, and me and my cousin would go swimming down there. We'd take our bicycles down there, and we'd ride off a bank, and we'd just jump in the water with the bicycles. And then we had to pull the bicycles out, and that's what we used to do.
Did it flood a lot on your farm?
Flood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, on that river farm that Poudre comes up every spring. That's the name of it. And one year we had some machinery parked along this one place, and we knew that Poudre was really getting high. So we moved that machinery out of the way, and then we had a fence there, and I took the pliers, cut the wires, when I cut the wires, they just went like, just sing down there, caught in that water and went
Oh.
down there. And the next day, that was all flooded out, or lane gone down one place, and where that machinery was, that was all flooded out. Yeah. Yeah. We used to dig out some gravel out of that pooter, and we used to save some of that stuff. Yeah.
You'd use it in your farmyard? Or?
Yeah. Along our lanes and roads and stuff. Yeah.
Did your parents speak German in your house?
Yes.
Did you learn any?
Just very little.
Do you remember any?
Oh, yeah, you know, like V. Gates, what's that?
How are you?
How are you, you know? Was schaffst du, you know?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You know? Like, I learned Kiesel, Peter Nakamola.
Who knows what that means?
There were some good words that don't translate to English.
You know, my grandpa, he had a hard time speaking English. Here's another thing I forgot. When my dad went to school and all these German kids went to school, they were supposed to learn English, and if they couldn't, the teachers would slap their hands with a ruler.
Yeah.
You know, because they didn't learn how to speak English. See, they got to learn to speak English right away. There was a lot of that, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So.
What part of farming didn't you like very well?
Shovel and ditch.
That was the spring thing, huh?
Every
Shoveling
spring
this
I had to shovel the
Ex-
company ditch.
Oh, the company did.
Yeah, you know, we had about 4 of us to go up that ditch, you know, we had to shovel it.
You had to clean the ditch.
Clean the ditch.
Oh, okay.
Clean the weeds out and shovel the sand out and
Just with a shovel
the shovel.
and your muscles.
Oh yeah, I wore out a shovel once a year, doing irrigation and stuff and hay and all that stuff.
Your parents were really active sugar beet growers, and they were
Yeah.
active in the Sugar Beet Growers
Yeah.
Association. Do you have some memories of that or some stories you can tell us about that?
Well, they always went to them meetings, you know, he took my mom with him, you know, and I don't really I can't think, you know, I forget all that stuff.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
They
that's been a
they
long
were
time.
high 10 growers sometimes.
I don't know if they made the high 10 or not. They were pretty close, but they didn't make it, I don't think.
What are some of your special memories of sugar beet harvest? For me, that was my favorite time on the farm. What kind of
Yeah.
memories do you have?
Well, me and my grandpa, we were picking up beets. We were supposed to pick up the beets, you know, behind the beet harvester and stuff. And well, my dad was driving the harvester and everything, and so me and grandpa had to take a truck and go pick up them beets. And my grandpa threw a beet up and hit the windshield of the truck and broke the windshield. And then my dad, then he'd use them German words to my grandpa. That's what I remember, but, there's all kinds of things, you know. We were working under a beet digger, you know, and there's 3 guys under the beet digger, you know, and how in the world can you get 3 guys under a beet digger, you know, to work on it and stuff.
Did you ever work with a beet knife?
Well, yeah, that's what we used to pick up the beets, was a beet knife. Yeah. You know, all them things are gone, you know, I don't have anything of that stuff anymore.
Yeah. Can you describe a beet knife?
Well, it's got a hook on the end, you know, and then you go down and it'll hook in that beet, see? and then you can pick the beet up and you can slice the top off, or, you know. That's how they work, the old beet knives. Yeah. Everything's different nowadays, you know, with these new tractors and these big beet diggers, and oh my God, it's all changed. That GPS system where they can let go of the steering wheel and just go straight down to the other end of the field.
Yeah, or they can plant the corn in a corn maze and.
Yeah, and they got some chemicals now they just put over the beets that stops the weeds from growing.
Yep.
It doesn't hurt nothing. I wish they would have invented that GPS system a long time ago. Gonna help my roads get a little straighter.
Farmers were proud of their straight roads.
Yeah, I
Right?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother, he done a lot of that too, and I did some, and oh man, he was always good at that. Yeah.
And farmers would drive by other farmers' farms and check out their roads.
Yeah, that's true. Excuse me. How do you know all that stuff? Yeah.
When did your parents decide to leave the farm?
Well, let's see. They lived in that one house. See, we had different houses, you know, and they lived in that one house where well, that's hard to say. I'll just start from, they lived up in the other house. They moved down to where the red barn is. They lived there for a while, and then I moved up from another farm up where they used to live. See, we had another house on another farm that me and his wife, when we first got married, that's where we lived. On this other farm, and it had a cold furnace in the basement of that house. And it was really cold that night. It's in the middle of the winter time. I don't know if it's blowing or snowing. And I told my wife, I says, you know, I ought to go down there and stoke that furnace up to keep the house warm. So I took the shovel and I throwed coal in and throwed coal in. And about an hour or 3 hours after that, we got up. It was way too hot in the house. And I looked, and it was 100 degrees in this house, and the walls were starting to crack. I threw too much coal in that thing. We had to open all the windows, open the doors, and let it all go out, you know. Well, I learned how to shovel coal in the furnace, and I didn't know how to do that on the furnace, but I did it at my mom's house when I was little. They put it in the stove. Yeah. So
Where did you get your coal?
Down there by Mead. Yeah.
You just go down with the truck and
and pick it up. Yeah, go down to the truck, pick it up.
Where did you get your domestic water for the farm?
Well, we didn't have no domestic water.
Did you come to town and get a tank full of water?
Oh, yeah. We had a cistern. That's another job I had to do. I had to go down in that cistern. Nobody else wanted to clean it, see?
Oh, yuck.
So I had to go down that cistern and clean it every so often.
How'd you clean it?
Well, with a rag, a broom, you know, and a bucket, and
Just scraped it.
yeah, because see, on the bottom of that cistern, that water stopped, you know, because that pipe didn't clean that all out and stuff, and the rust, and get it clean, and then we'd go to, well, they would deliver water out here from the town of Windsor.
Oh, yeah.
And they delivered out, and we put it in our cistern. And that's what we drank and stuff like that.
Do you remember when was it Northweld water that
Yeah.
came through? Do you remember when that happened?
I don't remember when it happened, but I seen it when it was there. I knew this one guy that was working there, and I watched him go up the road, you know, Northweld water, and then they changed up, and everybody started drinking Northweld. That was the 60s, I imagine.
That sounds about
Yeah.
right. If your parents, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about your parents' decision to
Oh.
leave the part of the farm to the town of
Well,
Windsor.
see, my brother, he got married, so he needed a place to live. So they moved in that Century 3, and then my brother moved in that house. But they were getting kind of where he didn't want to. My dad didn't work, anymore. He just drove around in his pickup and looked at everything, and made sure we were doing everything the right way. Them old Germans, they all got to look.
That's the truth.
Especially if it's their kid.
Yeah.
So when did they decide to leave the part of their farm to the town of Windsor? What was their thought
Well,
process there?
they sold that farm to a developer. That's who they sold it to. Yeah, and then they made a deal with that yard down there. The Historical Society wants. The developer said, when my ex-sister-in-law passes away, then they'll come in there and make that a park or something in there. So we were talking about that here a while back, weren't we? Yeah.
So the developer is the one that
Yeah.
decided to,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, the town wanted something, so he decided to give them.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's how that started.
So if you think back and look at the property and you think about the planning process for making that a park, what would you say about how you'd like to see that park developed?
Well, he always had a garden there. Plant a little garden and have, you gotta have a park for the kids and some place where the kids can play on and stuff, and I was always thinking the cars could park along the number 2 ditch, and that I don't know what the town is going to do. See exactly, but that would be have a little farm machinery there, some old stuff.
When you moved off the farm, did you have a big farm sale?
Yeah, we did.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah, it was cold, real cold, in January. I don't know if it was 0 degrees or what it was. Yeah, I remember it.
Was that hard to see all that equipment
Yeah, it was.
go out the door?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, that was hard.
One thing we didn't talk about is churches in Windsor. Do you have any memories of some of the Windsor churches?
Well, I don't. Me and my wife got married in St. John's Church. The old church down there was evangelical something, and that's Faith United now. See, the 2 churches combined and made that one out there. I don't know all these little churches around here. I wasn't in them, or anything, so I don't know. I know there was plenty of churches in Windsor.
Did you remember anything, like, were your grandfather in the brotherhood in the church?
My what?
Was your grandfather in the brotherhood? Some of those old German
Well,
guys
yeah,
were in
he
the
was
brotherhood.
down there in that old church. He just lived two houses down, and he'd walk to church. He'd go for that German service. Yeah. Yeah, he did that. And so.
Do you have any other stories you want to tell us about the farm?
Well, I don't know any stories. Well, I could tell you one story. We had a bridge over the number 2 ditch in the middle of our farm. And Ashley Ag was here in Windsor, and they'd done the fertilizing stuff, and so they had a big truck. So we ordered some fertilizer, and we told them not to go over this bridge, to go around the road and the other way. Well, this driver, he decides to go over that bridge, and that whole thing caved off, and that truck went down in the number 2 ditch. And we had to have 2 cranes out there to lift that truck up out of number 2 ditch. And then we had to have somebody build that bridge, but see, Ashley Ag paid for all of that stuff. So, yeah, then I remember that part. Well, there's a lot of stories, but I can't remember everything. You know, there's...
Ashley Ag, was that in Windsor?
Yeah,
Back there
behind Bruner.
behind Bruner's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think your parents would say if you, when did they pass away? Your mom went last, right?
Yeah, my dad passed away in 88, November 88. And my mom, I think it was 2006.
What do you think they would say if they
Oh,
came back and saw the
if
farm?
they'd see all them houses on that place. Well, the way Windsor is now, golly, they wouldn't. Oh man, that would be hard, what they'd say, but I know it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good. Yeah.
Do you have any other things that you'd like to add to your history? Like, how did you meet Sharon? We haven't talked about
Oh,
Sharon.
we just kind of met in town here, and we just started going together. Well, see, we all went to school together around here. We knew everybody, you know, and that's kind of how we started going together, you know. I think we went 2 years, and then we got married. And doggone, you know, when she passed away, it was like 45 years we were gonna celebrate that, and that's how long we were married. So anyway,
How many years has she been gone?
well, I don't know, 2000, well, 6 years. Yeah.
Did you participate in any of the Pulp Avenue picnics that her parents
Well,
helped
I
arrange?
didn't, yeah, but her parents were in on that a lot. And, Jake, her dad, was just, he went there all the time, you know. I never did go there. And there was somebody else, but I forgot his name. He'd come up from Denver. And, they called him Swatskov or something like that. And he'd come up and go with Jake and go to that. And he'd go out by my dad and visit my dad too. He's originally a guy from Windsor. Yeah, an old German guy.
So when you were young, did you do any polka, any Dutch hop dancing?
No, I didn't know.
You didn't dance?
No.
No?
No, I didn't do that. I went to a lot of them, but I didn't do that. Yeah.
So do you have any stories about any well-known Windsor people that you'd like to share? Like, did you know some of the mayors and?
Well, I knew Wayne Miller, you know, he was a vet. I know he had got some cattle in one time at the stockyards here in town. He come out and helped us vaccinate them and all that stuff. We had a whole bunch to do. Well, I know Wayne, you know, but we had Tom Jones for our vet, and he'd come out and help us when we were doing cattle and stuff on certain things. So yeah, and I don't know, you know. I know Ed Farrington. He used to be the Windsor policeman in town. They only had one policeman in town here. But he knew everybody too, see. One time I went out west of town and I went into the ditch, and here come Ed Farrington, you know, put his lights on and came out there. And my cousin was going too, he was going home, he was gonna. And he come out and when told my cousin, he says, well, why don't you pull Larry out of the ditch? You know, and we went home. You wouldn't do that nowadays. No.
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 You'd have to call the sheriff and the police and the whole
Yeah.
business.
Oh yeah. went in the parade a lot, you know, in them old days, you know, the Windsor Wranglers, they had people that rode in the parades, and so I did that, yeah, we had a good time.
Do you have any special memories of the Harvest Festival and Labor Day? That's been a big thing in Windsor.
Yeah, you know, they used to have a carnival back at the lake.
Mhm.
That was pretty neat. Yeah, and the parade, and they played bingo. I played bingo, you know. That's about the only thing I can say. So,
Sue, any more ideas?
No, I think,
Larry?
I can't think of anything, you know. God darn it, I can't. I know I got a lot of stories, but man, oh man, I just can't.
I think you've told us a lot.
I think so. Is that clock? What time is it?
2:45. Thank you, Larry.
Thanks.
You bet.
That was interesting.
Thank you.